For number 17, you're asked to determine if the table is linear, quadratic, or exponential. So if I look at my three options, to recall linear, you have a constant rate of change, which means you're adding or subtracting the same number throughout the entire pattern, looking at the y values. Quadratic relates to linears in the fact that you would have to find the first difference and there would be no pattern. However, if you find the second difference, you do find a pattern. The second difference, you're going to be adding or subtracting the same number. Exponentials grow quickly or slowly. They are multiplying by a common ratio throughout the entire pattern. So if I look at my y values, there's one thing I notice. They start decreasing and then they start increasing again. There's only one option if they decrease and increase, and that is quadratic. I am going to show you how to show work to decide whether it's quadratic, but the reason I chose that is because if it's linear, if you're adding or subtracting the same number, you can't decrease and increase. And exponential, if you're multiplying by the same number, you can't decrease and then increase. So it has to be quadratic. So if you want to show work for this, you could really graph this picture using the ordered pairs given. You can write the equation. The equation for this one's pretty easy. You're saying 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, and so forth. So the equation is really just a parent function. However, we've been looking at the second difference, so let's check. If I look at the first two y values, I'm saying, what is the change? It went from 4 to 1, so that's subtracting 3, because 4 minus 3 is 1. And then from 1 to 0, that decreased by 1. And then from 0 to 1, you added 1, and then from 1 to 4, you added 3. So this would be the first difference, which if it was linear, all of those numbers would be the same. However, for quadratics, you have to check the second difference. So if I look at -3 to -1, that would be increasing by 2. From -1 to 1, that would be increasing by 2. And from 1 to 3, you're increasing by 2. So because the second difference is constant, which means you're adding the same number throughout the entire pattern, this would be quadratic.